In this video, I'm going to show you some more advanced tuner exercises that will help to improve your ability to hear the pitch, hear the intonation, and actually match it. My name is Josh Gu, and after years of studying the clarinet with some of the best teachers from around the world, I am excited to be sharing my knowledge with you. So go to QuickStartClarinet.com or check the description on this video to see all of the wonderful resources I have to help you reach your clarinet dreams. And of course, subscribe to this channel for weekly clarinet and music tips and tricks. Last week I did a video going over some of the common mistakes that people do with the metronome and sort of talking about intonation and how to actually use the metronome properly. Now I'm going to show you some more of my favorite exercises that really help to develop a good sense of pitch and intonation. So I'm going to be using the Tonal Energy app, which I highly recommend. It costs a few dollars, but it's a fantastic app and has so much value and so many different things that you can do with it, and you'll see some of the great capabilities of it today in this video. So remember that the big points of playing with good intonation is hearing the pitches really well and having a great ear for where in tune is, and then also having the flexibility to match whatever pitches you're hearing. So the first exercise that I'm going to do works a little bit more on the hearing side of things and your own sort of internal sense of pitch, which is really tricky to develop, but this is a great sort of starting exercise to be really honest with yourself about how your intonation is going and how well you play in tune. So for this exercise, I'm going to pull up my tuner, and what we're going to be doing is actually just taking the music that we're playing through it like normal, but picking a note that's maybe a problem note and stopping on it. And then we're going to look at the tuner. So you're not going to be looking at the tuner while you're playing. You're going to play your piece, hold a note that you think may be a problem or that you know you sometimes have problem landing perfectly, then look at the tuner and see where you landed, and then you can try it again and adjust given the information that the tuner has given you. So I'm looking for that concert G or the A, and that looked sharp. I wasn't looking at it at first, then when I looked at it, it was sharp. So now I'm going to try it again and try to aim lower on that note. Now when I looked at it, I went from 10 cents sharp to 5 cents sharp, so I'm moving in the right direction. I'm going to try to hear it even lower and aim even lower and hopefully hit in tune this time. That time I was 3 cents or 2 cents, so I'm really close. One last try and I think I'll get it. That was definitely the closest one yet. So you can see how this trains you to not just look at the tuner and constantly be chasing and bending the pitches around to try to hit the right spot, but it actually trains you to hear the interval. And actually hear that as an in-tune F and then an in-tune A. And I wasn't looking at the tuner for all the rest of it, so hopefully the other notes were pretty in tune. It is definitely a good idea to sort of warm up a bit and make sure that your instrument's relatively in tune before you try an exercise like this, where you could play all of the notes sharp and then you get the note that you're going for in tune, but then it's flat compared to everything else. So you want to make sure that all of the notes are relatively in tune. But this is great. Alright, the next exercise is another one of my absolute favorites for developing a good sense of pitch. So what we're going to do for this one is we have our drones pulled up, and we're going to drone a note, really listen and try to internalize that pitch, turn it off, and then play it with our eyes closed. And then I'm going to open my eyes when I feel like I'm in tune with what I was hearing, and then I'll be able to see on the tuner if I actually was in tune or not. So let's try this. I definitely could hear that I started sharp, and then I was working on the flexibility to bend it around, and then when I opened my eyes, I was actually really flat. So let's try that again. Oh man, still 10 cents flat. Okay, I really want to hear this flat. Okay, now I'm almost 10 cents sharp, so I'm getting closer maybe, or overcorrecting. And this is why this is a great exercise to really work on actually internalizing the pitch. Let me try one more time. Third time's the charm. Got it. So you see it takes some practice to really find that and really hear it, but this is an excellent way to really train your ear to hear the pitches and to internalize them, and then see if you can actually match it and memorize it on the instrument. The next exercise is very similar. This one actually requires headphones though, because we're going to keep the drone going. So the way that this is going to work is that we're going to drone the pitch and hear that in our headphones, and then we're going to play. And luckily, because the drone is coming through our headphones, it won't interfere with the actual tuner that we see. So the tuner on the screen will be telling the pitch of the clarinet, and then we'll be able to hear how that relates to the pitch in the headphones. So let's give this a try. So you can start by just playing in tune and matching with the tuner, but then you can also do the flexibility exercise where you start intentionally sharp and then bring it down, go flat, and then bring it back up. And this is a great way to hear what sharp and flat actually sounds. So let's give that a try. So you can hear as you're adjusting, it gets better and better. And really, I think once it's within that sort of 3 cents range, either 3 cents sharp or 3 cents flat, it starts to sound pretty good. And then it gets really perfect once it's truly in tune. But that's an excellent way to get used to hearing sharp or flat. And you can hear the actual pitch in your ear the whole time, and then feel what it feels like and hear what it feels like when you're conflicting with the pitch of the instrument, and actually be able to visually see that. So that's a great exercise as well to work on matching other people and being able to play in tune in unison with other people. All right, for this next exercise, this is where we can start to get really fancy. So we're still using the headphone with the drones. What we're going to do is drone a steady pitch, and then we're going to actually play different intervals on the instrument with that steady pitch. Now, if you know much about intonation, or even just in general, you may have heard things like the major third of a chord is sharp, so you need to bring it down. And that's where tonal energy can be really nifty, because you can actually work on the just intonation, or like the pure temperament of scales and intervals with this technique. So I'm going to be droning a B flat. So what I need to do is double tap the B flat to make it the key. So if you see in the top left of the tuner, it now says the key is A sharp or B flat. And now I'm going to change my temperament to just/pure temperament. So what this is going to do now is show me that the third, instead of being just perfectly in tune third, it will tell me where the true intonation of the third is. So for example, when I play an E, because we're in the key of concert B flat, so the top number tells me how sharp I am in the pure or just intonation. The bottom number tells me how sharp I am just in regular equal temperament. So you can see I'm at about plus 12 on equal temperament intonation, but I'm like plus 26 or 23 or whatever it was in the just intonation. So if I was playing a C major chord or a concert B flat major chord, and I was playing the third 10 cents sharp normally, 10 cents is still pretty sharp, but it would sound even more sharp because of the just intonation. So this is a great way to hear what the true pitches are against the drone for the intervals. So I'm going to play maybe the first 5 notes of the major scale and see if I can get all of them to be in tune with where the tuner is and hear how that correlates to the drone of the B flat. And you can see how great the really truly in tune intervals are, especially that major third. It sounds very different when you're playing it that 12 cents or so flat according to equal temperament, but it sounds a lot better there than equal temperament in tune. So that's a great exercise to practice really getting the intervals down. Now the final exercise is kind of similar, where you're going to be playing intervals against a drone, but this is where you can actually put a drone on and then play your actual music with it. So let's go back to equal temperament for one, and then let me try playing the first piece that I played, the first few notes of the Brahms Second Sonata, and it was that A or concert G that was really sort of throwing me off, or was maybe the problem note that I was looking for. So I could drone that, and that'll give me a target to aim for when I get to it. So you can see by having that target to aim for, it makes it a lot easier to hit it right away. This one you don't have to do with a headphone because you're not necessarily looking at the other pitches, but it can still be nice to use a headphone so that you can see where all of the other pitches are. When you don't have the headphone and the app is playing the pitch out loud, then the microphone also picks that up and it sort of conflicts with whatever note you're actually playing. So headphones work really good with the drones in general. It also makes it a little bit easier for you to hear the drone as well. So that was one example where I drone sort of the problem pitch. You can also just drone sort of the tonic of the key. So in this case, it's F on clarinet or concert E flat. So let's try that. And I'm going to do the higher octave because that's sort of where it is. And if you want to set the equal temperament, so as you're looking at your other notes, you can hear how they're relating and how they should be, just like we did with the scale. You can do that as well. And you can see how that gets quite challenging to really land all of those truly perfectly in tune, but this is a great way to develop your ear and develop the flexibility and develop the understanding of sort of where your instrument is. For example, I know that that concert C tends to be a very sharp note on my instrument, and in the key of E flat, that concert C needs to be even lower in pitch, so that makes it even more challenging to hit that. So now I know when I'm playing that melody to really aim quite low, and this will develop my ear to hear what that melody is when it's actually really, really in tune in the key. One little caveat to that, though, is the Brahms, of course, is for clarinet and piano. So when you're playing with the piano is equal temperament tuning, so you have to match whatever the piano is doing, whereas if I'm playing that concert C and the piano is also playing a C, then I need to match whatever the piano's C is. And again, that's where the hearing and the flexibility becomes so important, being able to hear a pitch and then match the pitch on your instrument. So I hope these more advanced tuner exercises have been helpful for you. Definitely give them a try. Let me know in the comments if there's any other interesting stuff that you do with a tuner to help achieve that goal of hearing the pitches better and knowing where the pitches are more accurately, as well as actually being able to match those on your instrument. So good luck with this. Good luck with playing in tune. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more educational clarinet content, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.